Abandoning all meritorious performances, serve me with faith. The realization will correspond to the nature of one's faith. All people of the world act ceaselessly in pursuance of some ideal. By meditating upon me, by means of those deeds, one will obtain devotion characterized by love in the shape of supreme service. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's purport. The function characterized by unalloyed devotion is the real function of all individual souls. All other varieties of function are activities of the external cases. These exoteric and esoteric dharmas are manifold. Non-differential knowledge of the Brahman, aiming at extinction of individuality. The Astanga Yoga Dharma, having as its goal attainment of the state of exclusive existence, Kaivalya. Aesthetical fruitive ritualism, aiming at material enjoyment. Jnana Yoga, seeking to combine knowledge with fruitive activity. And the practice of the function of barren asceticism. Getting rid of all these, serve me by pure devotion, rooted in faith. Exclusive faith in me is trust. Faith in the form of trust, by the process of gradual purification, tends to become a constant engagement, nishtha, an object of liking, ruchi, of attachment, a shakti, and a real sentiment, bhava. The more transparent the faith, the greater the degree of realization. If you ask, how will the preservation and conduct of worldly affairs be feasible if one is continuously engaged in the endeavor for the realization of bhakti? What also will be the nature of the endeavor for the realization of bhakti when the body will perish, consequent to the cessation of the function of the body and society? In order to strike at the root of this misgiving, the Supreme Lord says, "This world subsists by the constant performance of certain activities. Fill all these activities with meditation of me. This will destroy the quality that makes those activities appear as acts done by you. They will then be of the nature of my service, bhakti." Mankind lives by threefold activities of body, mind, and society. Eating, seating, walking, resting, sleeping, cleansing the body, covering the body, etc., are various bodily activities. Thinking, recollecting, retaining an impression, becoming aware of an entity, feeling pleasure and pain, etc., are the mental feats. Marrying, practicing reciprocal relationship between the king and subject, practicing brotherhood, attending sacrificial meetings, offering oblations, digging wells, tanks, etc., for the benefit of the people, maintaining one's relations, practicing hospitality, observing proper civic conduct, showing due respect to others, are various social activities. When these acts are performed for one's selfish enjoyment, they are called karma-kanda. When the desire for attainment of freedom from activity by knowledge underlies these actions, they are termed jnana yoga or karma yoga. And when these activities are managed to be performed in this way that is conducive to our endeavor for bhakti, they are called Gyan Bhakti Yoga, or the subsidiary devotional practices. But only those practices that are characterized by the principle of pure worship are called bhakti proper. My meditation is practiced in every act when bhakti proper is practiced in due time while performing this subsidiary devotional activity in one's intercourse with ungodly people of this world. In such position, a jiva does not become apathetic to Godhead, even by performing those worldly activities, This constitutes the practice of looking inwards, toward one's real self, as mentioned in the Isopanisad. Isavasyam idam sarvam, yat kincha jagatyam jagat, tena taktena bunjintaha, magidha kasya svidanam. If whatever is accepted be received as favor vouchsafed by the Supreme Lord, the worldly activity will cease to be such, and will turn into the service of Godhead, bhakti. If worldly acts are performed in the above manner, one does not get entangled in karma, even in hundreds of years of worldly life. The meaning of these mantras, from the Gyan point of view, is renouncement of the fruits of one's worldly actions. But from the bhakti point of view, they mean the attainment of Krishna's favor, prasadam, by their transfer to his account. In this method, which is the path of archana, you should do your duties of the world by meditation on worshipping Godhead. Brahma cherishes the desire for creation in his heart. If that creative desire is practiced by conjoining the same with meditation of obeying therein the command of the Supreme Lord, then it will be a subsidiary spiritual function, guna dharma, being helpful for the growth of the disposition for the service of divinity by reason of its characteristic of seeking the protection of Godhead. It was certainly proper to instruct Brahma in this manner. There is no occasion for such instruction in the case of a jiva in whom the spontaneous aversion for entities other than Krishna manifests itself on his attainment of the substantive entity of spiritual devotion, bhava. Listen, O Vidhi. I am the seed, the fundamental principle of this world of animate and inanimate objects. I am Pradhan, the substance of matter. I am Prakriti, material cause. And I am Purusha, efficient cause. This fiery energy that belongs specially to the Brahman, that inheres in you, has also been conferred by me. It is by bearing this fiery energy that you regulate this phenomenal world of animate and inanimate objects. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's purport. Certain thinkers conclude that the non-differentiated Brahman is the ultimate entity, and by undergoing self-delusion, vivarta, exhibits the consciousness of differentiation. Or, the limiting principle itself, Maya, when it is limited, is the phenomenal world, and is itself the Brahman in its unlimited position. Or, the Brahman is the substance, and this phenomenal world is its reflection. Or, everything is an illusion of the jiva. Some think that Godhead is evidently a separate entity, jiva is another different entity, and the phenomenal world, although it is a singular principle, exists separately as an eternally independent entity. Or, Godhead is the substantive entity, and all other entities, as chit and achit attributes, are one in principle. Some suppose that by the force of inconceivable potency, sometimes the monistic and sometimes the dualistic principle is realized as the truth. Some, again, arrive at the conclusion that the theory of the non-dual, minus all potency, is meaningless, whence the Brahman is the one eternally unalloyed entity vested with pure potency. These speculations have originated from Veda, relying on the support of Vedanta Sutra. In these speculations, although there is no truth that holds good in all positions, there is yet a certain measure of truth. Not to speak of the anti-Vedic speculations, Sankhya, Patanjali, Nyaya, and Vaisheshika, nor even the Purvamimamsa, which is fond of exclusive fruitive activity in conformity with the teachings of one portion of the Veda. The bodies of opinions detailed above have also come into existence by relying outwardly on Vedanta itself. By discarding all these speculations, you and your bona fide community should adopt the ultimate principle, identical with the doctrine of Achintya Bheda Bheda, inconceivable, simultaneous distinction and non-difference. This will make you eligible for being a true devotee. The basic principle is that this animate world is made up of jivas, and the inanimate world is constituted of matter. Of these, all the jivas have been manifested by my supreme potency, and this phenomenal world has been manifested by my secondary potency. I am the cause of all causes. In other words, I regulate all of them by the power of my will, although I am not a different entity from the marginal and material potencies. By the transformation of those distinct potencies, Pradhan, Prakriti, and Purusha have been produced. Hence, although as regards the subjective nature of all potency, I am Pradhan, Prakriti, and Purusha, yet as the possessor of power, I am eternally distinct from all those potencies. This simultaneous distinction and non-difference has also sprung from my inconceivable power. So let the attainment of love for Krishna, by the practice of pure devotion through knowledge of their mutual true relationship that subsists between the jiva, matter, and Krishna, based on the principle of inconceivable, simultaneous distinction and non-difference, be my instruction for being handed down in the order of spiritual preceptorial succession in your community. Sri Brahma Sampradaya.